What is up? Welcome to Bleach Boys number 12. We are back doing another 6-episode recap. This time we get to see the end of the Ishida fight, which is we really get to see the beginning and the end because we didn't get to see much of it this whole time.
And this is against the
yo-yo lady.
Yo-yo Arrancar. I believe we find out in this episode she's number 105.
Oh, she's another pre-round.
Yes. And then we get to also see the end of the Rukia versus the spot number 9. So
insert name here.
We get to see the end of that, and then we get to finish with a encounter I don't remember. So I'm interested to know if you guys remember this coming up. Warning: this Bleach podcast features many spoilers from the upcoming anime arc 1000 Year Blood War. So if you've not read the manga or you do not want to hear spoilers for the upcoming arc, viewer discretion is advised. So to start off, we immediately pick up with Ishida's fight is where it goes to. This is right after Rukia fighting a spot number 9. He released his Zanpakutos into his released Cthulhu form.
Oh, yeah.
And now we're going to Ishida's fight. Back when he tried to use his bow to block the yo-yo coming at him and got clipped right in the fucking shoulder like a dummy. Then we get the classic zoom into the hallway that's behind him where we saw the yellow hollow eye. And it's Pesche, of course, the only of Nell's crew that hasn't shown up yet. And he is thinking to himself, he's worried, saying he knew he shouldn't have followed the weakest of the weakest looking of the 5 intruders. So the 5 intruders, guys.
Oh my god.
You guys all know who the 5 people who showed up.
Yes.
Who do you think he ranked? He ranked them all. There's a ranking that came out.
So we
from
know Ishida's
strongest
at the
to
bottom.
weakest. So Ishida's at the bottom.
He picks, I'm going to say Renji as number 1.
Okay.
Rukia second to last. Then I'm going to say Chad and then Ichigo.
So you're trying to go based off of powers where he literally went off who looks the strongest.
Oh my god, it's Chad number 1.
Chad, then
Chad gang.
Renji, then Ichigo, then Rukia, and then Ishida.
Which is wild that Rukia got placed way higher.
Well,
Than fucking Ishida.
It's weird that she's so low because he's seen her powers. Like,
Yeah,
that's right.
that's true.
Like she's frozen like stuff right in front of him. So I would assume in
think it's
his
a
mind it
sexist
would be
thing.
higher. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's totally just like he just picked whoever looked the weakest. So
Fucking Pesche. That makes so much sense.
Yeah, Pesce is kind of watching the fight, and he thinks about coming out to help, but gets distracted because of how attractive the Arrancar looks from his angle.
Perspective.
You can
Yes.
see.
Yes.
So he starts to kind of try to sneak out to get a better angle of viewing up her skirt, but gets spotted and gets attacked. So Uryu sees him, and he remembers his full name. He says, Pesce Gautiche, I believe is his name. And this catches Pesce completely off guard. And he's like, oh, you remembered my whole name, even though you only heard it once.
Aww.
And Ishida like kind of smiles back at him, and Pesce's like, finally. And he says, you like me, don't you?
Oh, fucking Pesh.
Then they both get attacked because the Arrancar is tired of waiting.
Yep.
With Ishida dodging, and Pesce just kind of constantly lands on his face, jumping around.
What a guy.
Ishida tries to convince the Arrancar that Pesce isn't his friend, but then Pesce gets upset, saying, how could you do that to me?
Ripping
It's
his heart out. The man poured it all out for him.
Ishida tries to get a counterattack in at this point, but is pushed away by Pesce, and he's like, let me handle this. I can take care of this.
Ooh, he goes
And
beast mode.
Pesce is like visibly shaking, turns and gives a thumbs up, like, I've got it. And he says, not to worry, because I have a very special ability. I can create a fluid that makes anything it touches incredibly slimy. The Arrancar attacks with her yo-yo, and Pesce shoots his liquid out from like his nose.
Yeah.
And covers the yo-yo. Ishida yells to watch out, but the yo-yo just hits Pesce on the shoulder and just slides right off. It's just totally fine. Pesce declares that he will defeat her. He sprays more of his liquid at her, this time firing like a fuck ton up in the air. It covers the tops of the pillars that she's been using to kind of jump around and attack from.
She's going to eat shit.
She lands down, slips, slams her head on the pillar, and then falls down onto the ground.
That's pretty rough.
Hey, Pesce's a mastermind, okay? He plotted this.
Pesce goes on to explain that he can produce an infinite amount of this fluid. He calls it Infinite Slick is the name of that ability.
I like it.
Ishida's like, oh, well, the name works, and it looks pretty cool, and it's good. Then recommends that he should probably start running away, seeing as how he just caught her off guard, and that won't work again. So the Arrancar gets up pissed at this point, releases her Zanpakuto immediately. She says, rip Golandrina. And we finally get the introduction of her name and number, first time ever. Cirucci Sanderwicci is her name, and she's a Arrancar number 105.
Wow.
She basically becomes kind of like a bird, razor wings, yo-yo shoulders.
Yeah.
What was he smoking when he came up with this character?
I know.
Listen.
It's like, listen, okay, her regular form, yo-yo, right?
Yeah.
Gonna be throwing yo-yo. Release form, bird.
with yo-yos.
Yeah, with yo-yo for shoulders, razor feathers.
I swear to you, it's probably like you're gonna be like, oh, this doesn't
Remember
make any
when we
sense.
checked out his Spotify playlist and he's like, this is what every character would have on their phone.
Yeah, it didn't make any sense. So I think he's maybe on some drugs and he's just having a good time.
Kubo's just not sleeping,
No,
maybe?
no. You don't understand. There's some deep lore and culture involved in this. There was a yo-yo goddess that was also a bird, and hundreds of years ago. If you had known, you would have known.
Yeah, yo-yos have been around for hundreds and hundreds of years. You can see if you actually go. So, pro tip: go to one of the pyramids, the great ancient pyramids in
No
Egypt,
shit.
and you can see they have on the wall the inscription of someone playing with a yo-yo.
QAnon.
So she uses the feathers to basically block Ishida's attacks, and he figures out that they're all vibrating at very high speeds, and that's kind of how they're like getting rid of his arrows. Pesche calls out to
I don't understand how he knows that, but he knows that.
saying, instead of Uryu, you should chase after me instead, which she immediately is like, okay, and attacks you. Uryu pulls him out of the way, and Pesche finally asks the question, is like, hey, do we have a strategy aside from just running? It's like,
Oh, I
Fucking
love it.
Pesche, dude.
and Ishida's like, yes, and asks him to make more
To
of his
win.
liquid. Pesche goes to do it, but no. Unfortunately, he's all out.
I thought it was infinite.
Uryu gets pissed that he called it infinite slick
Yeah.
because it's not infinite. And Pesce is like, well, I wanted to give the impression that it was endless, so that's why I named it that.
Mother.
So Chiruchi attacks and thinks she got Pesce, but Uryu used, I wrote down the name, him Kyaku to get Pesce, which is basically just flash step for Quincy's.
Oh.
Uryu is now fighting with Pesce like straddled onto his back. Ishida throws Pesce down, shoots an arrow between his loincloth to kind of send him flying towards the hallway, and he's like, cool, we're good. Now Ishida can focus on winning the fight, so he says.
Oh, because he had it.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was winning the whole time.
He now continues to do the classic Ishida thing, where he runs around fighting, trying to figure out how her abilities work as he's running around. Basically, feathers go vibrate, so arrows don't work. That's pretty much what he figures out. Then says, I have no choice, reaches behind his back, pulls off one of the metal rods, and slashes one of the metal feathers in half as he was about to be attacked. So he
forget
pulls
did
out his
that- did
lightsaber.
that, yeah.
Yo.
And that's the end of the first episode. It's a lot of running, a lot of Pesce and Ishida, who are fucking great together.
Fantastic.
So
Fantastic.
I think you. I'm just quoting you.
Yeah.
When he pulls the sword out, he literally says, "It's sword time, cocksucker."
Yep, just like that.
Yeah, I didn't write that part in there, but he does say that, yeah. We move on to the next episode, and I wanted to take a quick moment here, and because they're doing a lot of recaps at this point, because it's jumping around a lot. So with the theme song and the recap for this next episode, it was about 4 minutes to get to the actual new parts of the episode.
Where are you watching this, by the way?
Just on Hulu.
Okay.
Yeah.
Damn, that's
like
like
in Crunchyroll.
You
can
only
always
get
go.
16 minutes of an anime now?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
They're fucking.
Well, that's not even cut. Well, are you cutting?
That's
like,
not counting the ending and all that
ending,
stuff.
yeah.
Oh, that's bullshit.
We're back with Ishida. He's saying that he's glad he took precautions. Before Kisuke and I snuck out of the hospital, I took a few useful items. Using Kisuke's skills, we were able to find a hidden storeroom where I found this. And it's the Steel Schneider. I can't remember if it's Seal or Steel. But the only bladed Quincy weapon, and it cuts through spirit pressure. The Urankar is like, oh, so you're
good.
Quincy, and says, that poor tribe that was wiped out by the Soul Reapers. And we get a bit of an explanation. High-speed vibrations are destroyed by even greater high-speed vibrations.
Oh, okay.
Seele Schneider, I believe is how it's pronounced, is also known as Soul Cutter and is made of reishi. The reishi that makes up its blade oscillate at 3 million revolutions per second. From
course,
what
'cause
I can see,
he would know.
Yes, the reishi on the surface of your feathers oscillate at 1.1 to 1.3 million revolutions per
I
second.
want him to die.
Sam, tell me, is this a glasses thing? Like, can you see
Yeah, it's a
Reishi
glasses
that well?
thing.
Okay.
It's a glasses thing. Yeah, I can do that.
Because he's
too.
the only one with glasses,
Yeah,
and he's
it's
the only one that's been able to figure it out.
Yeah. You have to have real glasses though, and then you get the abilities.
Okay.
Is this gonna be a running joke with us from now on?
Sam's gonna be able to. Jose's moving way too slow. I can take him out.
So the Urankar hears his explanation, and she's like, oh, so what you're saying is my feathers won't work against you anymore then? Ishida's like, yep, that's correct. And then all of her razor blades and feathers, like her razor blade feathers, fall to the ground, as does her big ol' fucking bird arms.
Oh.
And Ishida goes, I never would have guessed you can freely shed your release form that way. Can all Urankars do that? And then she explains, we can't freely do this. I discarded it. I can't go back to that form again.
She's like Optimus.
Yeah, really. The formal name for our release is Resurrection. It means returning blade. It resembles a regular sword when sealed. It enables us to become manifestations of our former hollow selves. So she was probably just a bird hollow beforehand, and then she got the yo-yo ability.
Oh, okay.
The only way we can return to normal again is by returning our abilities back into sword form. Changing our forms without turning back into the sword would cause serious damage like losing an arm, which she does not do. She says, I'm very bad at conserving energy. You'd be surprised at how much spirit energy I end up expanding by wearing these arms and feathers. It's immense, so if I can't use them, I might as well discard them. This will enable me to concentrate my spirit energy into one powerful attack. So then,
she's pulling the Ichigo method.
Yep.
a little bit, but she doesn't just do one powerful attack. Instead, what she does is she has like a long, like a cockatoo, where they got the long piece of hair that comes off them. She has that, basically. And she starts using the long piece of hair that comes off her back to turn into like a giant spirit fan. So like it makes like a V at the end of the tip, and it's like a big fan. And they basically begin a fight. Ishida does, of course, a lot of running and blocking once again. He eventually blocks this new spirit fan thing and begins pushing slowly through it, like cutting through it. She pulls back and she's like, now that I think about it, and then she turns her fan into a big ass sword now. And she says, if we both have a sword with equal power, then the one with longer reach will win. So she's going a little bit of logic on that one.
Big dick stick.
But Ishida's like, both with equal power? ? Seele Schneider's reishi vibrations aren't meant for cutting. Its vibrations weaken the bonds that hold reishi in place, making it easier to steal. I collect all of the reishi from my opponent, and then he begins to suck reishi towards him from her thing. The way Quincy battles is by gathering all the reishi from the surrounding area and then utilizing it as a weapon. That which is the most powerful embodiment of this method is right before you.
Pushies.
All of your reishi belongs to me now. So she is shooketh here. She's like, okay. And she says, not a chance, Quincy. Tries to throw the sword at him. Last ditch effort. He also says, you got another thing wrong. You should be aware the Seele Schneider is not a sword. Quincy's don't use any other weapons than bows and arrows, as he cocks the sword into his bow as an arrow. And then he fires the sword, going right through hers, one-shots, and stabs her right in the fucking chest. And she falls to the ground.
Oh, is Pesche there to catch her?
No.
But he's on the ground looking straight forward.
Uryu goes to leave, and Pesche is there now, and he's like, are you sure? I don't think she's dead yet. It's like, you don't want to like finish her off? And this is where we get to see Uryu's a bit sadistic. And he says, as you see, I defeated her. As a victor, it's up to me to decide what fate awaits the worthy foe.
He is a Josh.
I pierced her soul chain, the source of her spirit energy production.
Oh, that's the thing we forgot that they do.
Yeah.
Arankars are hollows who have gained the powers of soul reapers. Their anatomy should be alike. And then we see Cirucci kind of crying on the ground now at this point. And he says, I don't know how she feels about it, but letting her live may be an even greater insult than death. But I assure you, I have no intention of playing by their rules. Even if she recovers and decides to come for revenge, the truth is she won't have the power to fight me. Then Pesche and Uryu walk down the hallway away. We see a scene we've seen before, where we see Cirucci on the ground as her like little bird headdress starts to dissolve. And then the guys who fight Dordoni appear above her. And they say, Cirucci Sanderwicci, we've come for you. Please do not resist. And then they pull out the sword and we cut away. We go to Chad's fight, which I forget we get to see in this episode as well.
The dude with the orange...
black guy, orange afro.
Yeah.
So
I don't know this
And
character.
he has like a star on his
you
forehead.
don't need to know him.
Yeah.
But
He gets
honestly,
wrecked.
you should know him because he's actually a really nice guy.
We like Don Panini nice or...
No. Don Panini...
He's special.
Yeah,
he's special.
We see Chad get punched across the room into a wall, and we immediately get the introduction of Arankar number 107, Gantenbainne Mosqueda, I believe is his name.
Okay.
And
Mosqueda?
Chad tries to attack, but the Arankar says a human who can't even use Sonido will never connect his weak little punches, and then sends him flying back. This the whole fight, as I had kind of mentioned, is being really, really chill to Chad. The whole fight.
Oh.
He gives him multiple chances to leave and stop fighting. But of
that's
course,
nice.
Chad is like, nah, I have to keep going. He's like,
Yeah.
yeah, you're not going to do it, dude. It's like, come on. It's like, what are you doing?
Fucking Sato.
Oh.
The whole fight is basically Chad getting beat up while this Arankar is being really nice and giving him advice on what to do. Like the whole time. He's like, oh, you need to follow through on your punch. You need to do this.
Oh, that's cool.
And until finally Chad like misses and then does like a fake out and hits him and actually lands a hit on the Arankar. The Arankar then is like, okay, fine, I'm going to actually fight serious. And then just mollywops the fuck out of Chad. Then, like every fight so far, the Arankar calls out Chad saying that he knows what he is doing. He's been hiding his true strength.
Oh.
Like
Of
every
course.
fucking fight. Ishida hit the swords. Ichigo hit his fucking Bankai and Hollow Mask, really.
Yeah.
And now Chad's fucking hiding his strength. The Arankar says, someone like you shouldn't be fighting like this. This should be a fair fight, so use all of your strength and hold nothing back. Once again, giving advice on how to do a fight. The Arankar goes to finish Chad while Chad is on the ground. And then we see like Chad's arm twitch for a second and Chad stands up. Chad says, sorry, in truth, I wasn't trying to hide it. It's just that ever since I came to Huecamundo, I sensed something about my power, something different from when I was in the world of the living. I was puzzled by that difference, and I wasn't able to control all my power until now. And he says, but I have finally gained control of it. The time has come, and I can fight with my full power from now on.
Oh, that's convenient.
Brazo de Derecha del Gigante. I believe it's the full name of that.
Del Derecho.
Derecho, yeah.
I can't say
so right.
Derecho.
Yeah.
Whatever. And it zooms out, and we see his right arm is now in the giant-ass shield form, which I just
the one
completely
that's like right
fucking
here, right?
forgot it's even a shield form.
Yeah.
A
It's the
shield
one with the
form.
face on it, right?
Yeah, it's a
right
shield.
here.
It's the one with the shield.
Okay,
So,
asshole.
it's the
All
one-
right, it's the one that has a
Yeah,
weird looking
the one
face.
with the shield emblem
The
on
one
it.
with the shield on it.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah, okay.
'Cause originally-
I forget his powers. He doesn't
Yeah.
use them very often.
Yeah,
Well, he gets beat before he
Yeah.
can use them.
Oh.
And then we zoom out, and he says, like he did the I finally gained control of it, and zooms out, and we now see his right arm is now, which is the giant shield form, and Chad says, take note, what you see is my right arm, but in its true form, which is stupid. And that's the end of that episode. Just wanted, and that's dumb.
So do you think Chad would have been like Greed? You know how like Greed from FMA has like that full armor suit? Do you think that would happen to Chad if you like used
See,
his
you
full
say
power?
that, and I don't remember anything at all about what Chad is doing in the last arc.
I remember.
Does he ever go full?
I don't know that
Because
he
that
does-
was clearly the
'cause-
most obvious progression for Chad.
Right.
Was to
Like a
slowly
full-
slowly progress his whole body.
Yeah.
But I think Kubo had too much on his plate and just was like, yeah, Chad's gonna be that guy that's like, yeah, Ichigo, I know my spot. I'm gonna go fight the lower guys.
The next episode that begins, Chad explains even further about his power, saying, from the moment I came to Huecamundo, it felt as though my inner power suddenly began to stir. The feeling it gave me was like anything I experienced in Soul Society, because he was really knocked out for most of it.
Yep. And in jail.
That feeling became stronger and stronger the closer I came to this place. Then when I was hit by your attack, I suddenly felt it settle. It was the first time I had it, and I thought maybe that stirring was anticipation. But ever since arriving at Huecamundo, my power stirred with excitement as if it had come home. But there is something I've been wondering about ever since I got this power. I thought that if my power is not like that of the Soul Reapers or the Quincy's, what exactly am I? He
Full
says,
bring.
I know why I'm not like them. I'm different. My powers are closer to that of the Hollows. Full brings around invented yet, Jose.
Are they?
yeah.
So what was the final ruling on full brings? Are they a hollow?
I think they're
human?
just humans
They're
that
just-
just have powers. I literally
Yeah.
think that's their
They're-
definition.
they have a
It's
high
the
level of
Hogyoku,
Reishi.
right?
I don't know. I don't remember.
I think that's.
I have no fucking idea. I don't remember
But
anything that has to do with Chad in that last
It
arc,
would have
so-
been cool if Chad still had like the hollow powers and was able to like.
Yeah, I agree.
I'd be mega pissed if my power stirred only after getting my ass fucking beat every time. So it's like, let's go get your fucking ass kicked. It's like,
Yeah.
okay, cool. I've got a cool Chad arm.
So do you remember? I feel like Jose, you might remember. Do you remember, Josh? It's a shield arm, as we discussed.
Mhm.
How does he use the shield arm?
Like when it.
What?
You would think it's for
Okay.
blocking, right? You would be like, it's a shield arm, probably for blocking.
It's a fan. There's been a lot of use of fans. He's just.
So he basically puts his arm down like in the L shape, like that,
Mhm.
and rocket thrusters come off the back of it.
Oh!
Yep.
So it's not. I don't even why is it a shield? It doesn't make any sense.
I think he's supposed to use it as a shield. He just doesn't.
So he begins to do the fucking rocket thruster bullshit off of his right arm, and then he's like, "This is the true form and true power," and then throws a right jab towards the Ironcar and sends him back through a wall into another room. Chad begins actually owning at this point now that he can keep up with the Ironcar. And the Ironcar starts to think to himself that not only is his power intense, but he is fast enough to keep up with Sonito.
Oh.
So out of nowhere, he's become that fast. So
So is Chad just running?
no, he's like they're fighting in the air at like certain points. Like the guy is teleporting around, and Chad keeps teleporting behind him.
What
the
And the
fuck?
guy's like he's fast enough to keep up with my Sonito.
That's pretty cool.
I don't know what shield arm gave him that power.
Maybe he channeled Usain Bolt's like
You have
power.
no fucking idea.
What if Ulquiorra met him instead of this guy? We're not getting this fighter
Yeah.
Chad, right?
Yeah.
No. So Chad eventually is able to land a fucking blast with the right arm right on the Ironcar. And then from the smoke, we see that the Ironcar is still up and says, "You're not the only one who has the ability to reveal his true power." And then he is now in his released form.
What is this?
He's
really?
basically got like a big ass armadillo shell that goes over his shoulders.
Oh yeah.
And he can put his two hands together to fire fucking laser beams.
What?
And
Saros?
no, they're not Saros. Like he charges it like this.
Like a Kamehameha?
Yeah, a little bit like that, and then just shoots a fucking laser. He does that, fires a big ass red laser towards Chad, and Chad just stands there and kind of eats it head on. And now Chad is covered in smoke, and Chad says, "Sorry, there's actually one more thing I neglected to tell you.
One more thing.
This arm that has gone through a metamorphosis and become my right arm's true form. I know without a doubt in my mind that the spirit of my abuelo resides within this arm. Abuela taught me how to use my power and wield my strength to protect others. Abuela was right. I didn't understand it first, but ever since I gained this power that lay dormant in my right arm, I knew my purpose. It was a defensive power, which he's not been using it for at all.
Yep.
Oh.
It was during my training, I looked deep into the core of my being, and it was there I found it. It was my defensive power. And then we now see Chad's left arm is covered in white and red, and he says, this is it. This is Diablo. The Arrancar is like, Diablo? It's like the devil? And just in case that needed translation for some reason, I don't know why that line was in there. I think everybody in the world knows what Diablo means.
Yes, it's a game.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. The Arrancar goes to fire another blast, and Chad goes to block it. Does not do it with his right hand. Does it with his left
Does
hand.
he just go like this?
He just blocks it.
Hey, remember that speech? Fuck it.
Yeah, he catches it and crushes it with his left hand.
Oh, I kind of
Ooh,
vaguely
yeah.
remember that.
And Chad says when he's in battle, he always fights at full strength. It's the only thing he knows, except for the first half of the fight, apparently.
Yeah.
So,
You need to get his ass beat, remember?
Yeah.
Remember, he had to resonate.
so he shoots again. Chad blocks it again with his left arm again. And what is the point of the fucking right arm? Fucking dumbass right arm.
I don't know. Big flex to be able to
It
block
would have
shit
been
with
cool
swords.
if, like, let's say he.
It's all for juking.
Yeah. There you go.
It's like,
It'd be cool if Chad was
I
able to
block-
like channel it and then be able to like fully turn into that like the giant mode, whatever, like his super shield mode if he could, and then go into super assault
I don't
mode.
like powers where you have to channel it, kind of like Ikaku's Bankai,
Yeah,
where it's
where
like,
it takes a
it's
while.
gotta warm up and like get going. Like I don't really like that.
Yeah, me neither.
I just
'Cause
like
you're gonna die.
yeah.
So Chad pushes the Arrancar into a wall and then raises his left arm and says La Muerte, and then punches him right in the stomach, and that's when we see the wall begin to crack and form the classic skull.
Do you remember
behind
how much
him.
Danny loved Chad at that point? And was
Yeah,
like, yeah,
I mean,
I'm gonna make a
Chad's cool,
Chad arm.
man. He's really cool. And then the wall breaks, pushing them now outside into Hueco. And the Arrancar collapses on the ground as Chad approaches. He kneels down and says, I was able to grasp my power because you fought me at full strength. Because of you, I will survive all of my battles that are in my future.
Well, he'll survive, but he
I'll
won't
leave
win.
you alive. Good luck. And he says, good luck, Arrancar, and then goes to leave. Which, big fucking psych to survive all of his battles coming up. Chad looks around, sees that the sky is blue around him, and he's very confused because he was just inside, and then outside it was nighttime at all points. And then a shadow comes over the Arrancar that's now on the ground. And the Arrancar calls out to Chad saying, run away, run away.
Oh,
And we cut away. We cut away to everybody else is sensing something for a second. They don't say what it is. And then they're like, oh, it's nothing. And they continue to move. We go back to Chad, and we see he's confronted by, of course, Noitora.
Oh,
And
I forgot about this. Holy shit!
The Arrancar is trying to tell Chad once again, like, stop. Like, you need to run away. Like, just go. And
guy's a
Chad doesn't
sadist.
listen and gets ready to fight. And he's like, I can handle it.
Oh.
He summons both of his arms. He thinks, he's like, oh, he's looking at Noitora. He's like, his movements are slow, but I can tell that he's a skilled fighter just by looking at him. The Arrancar is then like, the same guy on the ground is like, what are you doing? Like, run. It's like, just like, leave. Chad's like, I should win with one blow. And then attacks with Diablo, lands a direct hits in Noitora's stomach. And he just stands there. And he just kind of like looks down at Chad. And Chad's looking really accomplished until Noitora's like, is that it? Is that the best you can do? And then we see blood fly, and that's the end of that episode.
Oof.
Because they have like hardened skin, right?
Yes.
Yeah, they have
Yes.
hierro, I think is what they call
Yeah.
it.
Next episode, we see, I'm going to butcher this guy's name, Zylparo
Oh,
in
yeah.
a dark room looking over battle footage of Renji's Bankai and kind of watching him and Donde Chaka run through a corridor. We get to actually cut back to Chad right away, and we see that he's been sliced right across the chest. Then Renji, Ichigo, and Ishida all cinch Chad, and Renji's like, those bastards got him. Then Ichigo picks up full speed and says Chad couldn't have been defeated. We made a vow. Like that somehow makes him invincible.
Yeah.
Hey, plot armor.
Yeah. And then we see Orihime in her cell who's looking out at the moon super sad, and Ulquiorra walks in to do a quick little check-in.
Hey, baby,
He's
I'm
like,
sick of dying.
you're obviously aware of what happened. That fool Noitora got impatient. He has been under standing orders to remain in place. And Orihime is like, she could sense the fight. Chad isn't dead. That's for sure.
So I watched a recent dub version, and I heard Ulquiorra's voice. They did a good pick.
It's good.
I thought
his is all right.
They nailed him.
Yeah, it's good. Ulquiorra's voice is good. Ulquiorra moves aside and he says, like, go ahead, come in. And another Arrancar comes in with one of those like wheelie serving things to give her food.
Oh.
And he tells Orihime to eat it. Orihime tries to do the classic version thing. He's like, no, I refuse. So
I think it's I reject.
Yeah.
I reject.
So Ulquiorra says, until Lord Aizen tells me otherwise, staying alive is one of your duties, so eat. Would you prefer me to force the food down your throat, or would you rather be strapped down and receive the nutrients intravenously?
That's hot.
And Orihime is like, all I know is Chad is not dead. And Ulquiorra replies saying, you're annoying me. It doesn't matter one way or the other. Do you expect me to respond to your provocation? Do you expect me to reassure you? To confirm to you whether or not he's still alive? I'm not here to comfort you physically or psychologically.
Could you imagine evolving that hardcore just to wheel in a fucking breakfast cart for a chick?
Yeah, but I would feel like,
I know what you mean.
Imagine you were a butler in the White House. That's still pretty successful.
Okay. I'm a
You're the best of the
it's
best.
Like Gerard Butler,
Yeah.
a tool designed coming in. I am also the butler.
Yeah, it's a pretty good spot. You don't want to be the people healing the Espada, though, as we learned that before. That's not a good job.
Yeah, they get wrecked.
Yeah, you
Yami
die.
just kills everybody.
Yeah.
Oh, my arm's good.
Ulquiorra continues on, and he says, I don't even understand why you care so much whether or not he's alive. Before this battle is over, all of your friends will be dead anyways. That is the truth. And he says, what does it matter if one is killed sooner than the others? They should have realized this from the start. And continues on saying, if I were you, I'd be angry that they were all foolish enough to sneak into Huecamundo in the first place. Like lambs to the slaughter.
Get him.
And so that pisses Orihime off, and she runs over and slaps the fuck out of Ulquiorra.
Does he even move?
Nope, he just turns away, walks out, and says, I'll be back in an hour. And if she hasn't eaten, he will force the nutrients down her throat.
God, that is... I'm getting flashbacks from my parents' marriage, you know?
Whoa.
Kidding.
I mean, fuck. Hardship Orihime and Ulquiorra at that point. So,
I feel it. I feel it.
We cut back to Noitora, who's just kind of sitting on a rock next to Chad, when another Roncar named Tesla appears behind him.
Oh, Tesla.
And he asks, aren't you going to finish him off, sir? And Noitora responds, what good would that do? Who in the world is going to acknowledge me as the strongest if I kill 1,000 weaklings? The lives of small fries are worthless. All that matters is, and then he stops and then says, that idiot Aranero released his Resurrección. I don't understand. His opponent's spiritual pressure isn't even anything special. Then Noitora says, let's go. I found a guy with massive spiritual pressure. I'm going to go crush him. He goes to leave, and then Chad gets back up. Oh. Do you remember Chad getting back up for round two?
I thought he was.
I always thought it was a one-shot.
Does he Captain America it?
He should have.
He's like,
he says,
all day.
Stop there. We're not finished yet. I won't let you go. Not while I have strength left in my body. And then Chad goes to attack again, but is this time blocked by Tesla. And Tesla says, I will not allow a weakling like yourself to land a blow on Master Noitora. And Chad says, damn you, and then faints.
Oh.
So you didn't
I kind of vaguely remember the damn you.
You didn't even really have that much strength left. And Tesla turns to go follow Noitora, who is stunned to find Noitora puts his blade into Tesla's neck.
Oh.
And Tesla is like, the enemy put all of his strength into a final attempt to defeat you, and he was basically afraid that you would be injured. And Noitora says, you were wrong. Nothing was going to happen. No one in the universe is my equal. No one can break this body. Never forget that. I'm the most powerful Espada ever created. Yeah.
Okay.
We see Renji and Pesche. No, Donde Chaka. We see Renji and Donde Chaka come to a fork in the road, and they're debating which way to go. Just then, a hole appears under Donde Chaka, and then under Renji as they are both falling into the abyss. We see Ishida, and he says that Chad's spiritual pressure is weakening, and Rukia is being overwhelmed, so he has to hurry. Renji falls into a new room. There he hears a creepy laugh, and we immediately get his introduction. We waste no time. This spotter introduces himself as Zylparo Grans is his full name. And we begin to hear Donde Chaka yelling, and Renji's like, oh crap, he's going to come down the slide behind me. Jumps to the side, he's like, fuck, that was close. And then the hole opens up behind him, and Renji gets fucking crushed anyways. Donde Chaka sees Zylparo.
You can just go with Grans.
And he says that he knows him and that we're in trouble for sure.
Number 9.
He's Huecamundo's greatest researcher. He specializes in the development of a wide variety of spirit-based weaponry.
Oh.
Yeah, interesting.
Oh.
Renji tells Donde Chaka to get off of him and then kicks him in the face. Donde Chaka cries and says, how mean, I would never do that to you. I'm a pacifist. And then keeps crying until Renji apologizes. Donde Chaka goes to do the Nell special. And he's like, well, if you're truly sorry, he's like, let me kick you in the face too. And then Renji kicks him in the face again. Zylparo is like, hey, I'm no threat to you, even though I'm an Espada. I'm not good at fighting. I'm a researcher. You two are fascinating on many different levels. Your patterns are very different from the ones I've studied. I was planning to welcome you with open arms in hopes we could establish a dialogue together.
Oh, what a nice guy.
Interesting, yeah.
Renji is like, don't be ridiculous. You must have me mistaken for someone else. I came here to kick your ass.
Yeah.
I don't care about your statistics or your invitation to your little peace conference. If you want to talk, you can do it while I'm cutting you to pieces, and then goes Bankai immediately.
Nice.
Okay, so he's the only guy not holding back.
He's the only one not holding back. Seriously.
I would nut if I saw Renji get a visored mask.
Fuck
I
it.
would just be
Could
so
you
happy.
imagine Renji
Dude,
with
mad
a
respect, because everybody else is playing games. Renji's like, nah, fuck you.
It's just how it should be going.
Yeah.
Yep.
Fuck that. So he goes to attack Azyle and with his Bankai, but it hits kind of like an orange barrier before it hits him, and his Bankai shatters into a billion pieces.
Yeah, you should go home.
Yeah.
It's like, so we were talking, or like, what was
So you said you wanted to be friends, right?
Yeah.
Oh.
How about some food?
So we cut to Rukia off of that. Renji is, of course, stunned, and we see Rukia versus Spotted number 9. He's a release form, Cthulhu Heffalump combination. And
I want to hear music.
Spotted number 9 says, the form you see before you is the result of combining the strengths of every hollow I've ever devoured. My gluttonoria, he says it with an Italian accent for some reason in the dub. Gluttonoria, that's what he says.
Gluttonoria.
Can simultaneously display the abilities of all the hollows that I've ever eaten. The last time I did an estimate, I had devoured 33,650 hollows, more or less. In case you can't do the math, that means at this moment you stand there alone. You're facing an army of over 30,000 hollows.
Easy, I take on 40,000, bitch.
Does he have glasses too? I'm curious. Or did he borrow from Ishida?
He might have
He's in
eaten
a big
someone
glass.
with, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, so
Yeah. You just put that shit in front of you and you can count fucking big numbers.
yeah,
He
and
just keeps track. It's a little like Cali.
that's kind of the end of that episode, by the way. So we immediately pick up, and we're still riding with Rukia. So we're not kind of waiting anything else.
A lot happened in that episode.
I just want to make sure you guys remember that it's the big Cthulhu monster, but he's still like top half Cayenne riding on the top of it.
Ew.
And he's still using his like trident.
Nice.
Rukia jumps at him while doing some sort of like self-introspection, saying that, she's sorry that she killed him. Of course, thinking about Cayenne. She did it to save herself. She's no longer has the will to go against you, Cayenne. And then she gets slashed at, knocking off her cool Huecamundo cloak that she brought with her.
Oh.
And then she gets fucking stabbed through the stomach, and the Espada raises her up in the air while she's on a pike laughing. And we go into flashback time.
She's gonna die.
It's Rukia and Cayenne. They're headed somewhere in the forest, and it's a little bit of a weird like Inception flashback where like Rukia is actually remembering it this time, and it's not just like a normal flashback because she's narrating parts of it. She remembers all of the trees, and then she puts together that this is where she first trained with Cayenne Shiba. We cut away to her first meeting Cayenne, and she said that they had a very ordinary relationship, and an ordinary relationship is exactly what she wanted, because she's always been part of either the poor folk or Byakuya. No regular.
And then they cut to an image of him standing up and pulling his pants up and saying the money's on the desk over there.
So a lot of this part, she doesn't narrate the whole thing, but a lot of it is flashbacks we've already seen and covered of like Cayenne and her doing stuff together. More so when we found out when he died. And so we continue on, and Rukia says that she found out she didn't have the skills for sword fighting. Her Kido skills received high marks when she was in the academy, but in the 13th squad, her abilities were just average. She wonders what her purpose is for being here. Cayenne asks if she's ever heard their captain's views on life. In his opinion, there are two types of battles in the world. Battles to defend your life and battles to defend your pride. Cayenne continues on saying, but personally, Rukia, I don't believe that's quite accurate, because the final analysis, you end up defending the exact same thing, your heart. We're getting deep. We're getting really deep. Cayenne says, Rukia, where do you think the heart is? And she does like here, like somewhere, like,
Right here.
Yeah. And Cayenne says, yeah, if you want to be literal about it, sure. But in my opinion, it's more of a state of mind. I think it's right here. And then he clenches his fist. And he says, I think a heart is created between people when they meet for the first time. A bond that is brought to life between individuals. It's an emotional connection. When you think about something or care about someone, that's when your heart is born.
Friends.
If you were the only person who existed in this world, your heart would have no way of forming, so it wouldn't be anywhere.
Just remember this speech and remember who he's related to. Ganju.
Yeah, that's so true. That's so true.
Yeah.
He continues on saying, there's nothing to worry about, Rukia. If you believe with all of your heart that you belong here, then this is where you'll stay. And Rukia narrates this part saying, it's weird because we see him saying it, and then she narrates saying, quote, he also said, if your heart is here, then that's all the reason in the world you need to be here. You must never doubt that. But I don't understand why we wouldn't just see him say that.
Yeah.
It would be weird because normally I would say, oh, maybe the voice actor got sick that day or something, but we've clearly
Some
had
logistical
him.
Yeah, he
reasons,
said it the whole time.
Yeah.
So it's like, I don't understand. Because then he continues on after that saying, but listen, Rukia, in the fights to come, there's something I must warn you about, something you must promise me never to do. Does anybody remember what must she never do in the battles upcoming?
Go Bankai.
Never listen to your heart.
Okay, that's a good guess, actually. That's a good guess.
I got nothing.
You must never die alone.
Oh.
He says, our souls are our bodies, and when we die, our bodies turn to dust and become the reishi that go on to form the Soul Society. So now that we kind of know what happens to them when they die.
I don't want to be a
because they're already in the afterlife. So it's like, so when they die, they just go on to become reishi, I suppose.
Do you think they actually held on to that fact, though?
Doubt it.
Yeah.
He says,
my friends are being absorbed by you all.
He said, but where do our hearts go? We entrust our hearts to our friends. If you entrust your heart to your friend, it will continue to live on inside them. That's the most important thing you'll learn from my training. Don't you dare die alone, Rukia. And we cut back to Spada number 9, who's still laughing and has Rukia fucking pierced up on his weapon. Rukia remembers the words of Kaien and grabs the pull of his Shikai, and her sword is broken in half. Her eyes are kind of like faded out, like she's not even there. Ice begins to fall as it kind of freezes her hand to Kaien's Shikai.
To the touch, yeah.
And Rukia says she finally remembered and then points her half-broken sword at Kaien, and she barely goes Sananomai Shirafuni, and then creates the second half of her sword going right through his fucking dome.
Nice.
Yeah.
And Kaien's skin starts to dissolve, and we see that the sword went right through one of the two little heads.
Nice.
And she says she finally remembered where the heart is. You may have had his techniques, but Kaien lives within me. I was entrusted with his heart. Farewell, Espada, and then slashes right through the glass.
That's a good little ending to that fight.
Destroys the dome. Both the heads of the Espada and the body kind of like, so the heads fall and the body kind of dissolves into like a green liquid that floods out of the room.
Oh, nice.
And then the one head that didn't get fucking cut into is the little squeaky high pitch head. And it's calling out for Lord Aizen to save him while rolling around on the ground, and rolls around until it eventually just fucking dies and goes black and dies.
Oh.
Rukia on the ground tries to crawl off, but she can't do it. She still has the top of the Poseidon, like the actual trident part, stuck in her.
Embedded in her.
Oh,
Jeez.
And
Christ.
she hears Kaien's words saying, don't die, Rukia. Promise me this, you must never die alone. And then she begins seeing images of all of her friends. We see Ishida, Chad, Renji, Byakuya. She pauses on Ichigo for a while. I just want to know. It's longer than the others.
Fuck your ship. Fuck your ship.
And then, or Hime at the very end. And she thinks to herself, I've known loneliness, the loneliness of the ones who's been locked away. I've known happiness, the happiness felt when your friends come to rescue you. And I've known something else. I've known terror. The terror of seeing those very friends injured and defeated. Don't worry, Orihime, I'm coming to save you. As she tries to crawl off some more, kind of reaching out with her sword, but then passes out and drops her sword. And that's the end of that episode. So now we're cutting into Renji's fight still. If you remember, his Bankai was broken.
Yep.
And Zylparo.
When is his Bankai not broken, though?
Almost always.
Yeah.
So Zylparo's like, whoopsies, there's one more thing I forgot to tell you. You can't use your Bankai in here.
What?
Oh, whoops.
I'm a stern Ritter.
He explains and he basically says, listen, I know everything about your Bankai. And he's like, you basically use that information that I've gathered to prepare this chamber that we're in. So your Bankai doesn't work in here. Sorry. And Renji's like, how do you know? It's like only someone who had fought it firsthand would know all of that stuff. And Zylparo's like, well, my brother told me. Does anybody remember who his brother is?
Is it Loopy?
Not
No,
Loopy.
it's not Loopy.
Oh, is it? It's the bull dude.
It is the bull dude. It's the bull dude. He goes on to explain that his full name is Zylparo Grons, which we said in the beginning. And he says, I expect you've heard of Ulquiorra Grons, which is the blonde-haired guy who turns into the bull that got fucked up by Ururu and Renji. Zyl says he learned about Renji's Bankai from Rukia, I believe is what he said, at the recording spirit bugs. That never comes up again.
That never comes up again.
He says, I placed them all over his body, and then I retrieved the pertinent data from his autopsy when they were...
I like cutting my brother up.
Zyl pulls out his sword and says, this is exciting. It's the first time he's seen someone who can use a Bankai in person. And then it goes back to Rukia, where it kind of rewinds a little bit, and we see that she just killed Espada number 9, and we get to see all the reactions of the other Espada, sensing the death of and basically no one gives a fuck. But we get to see Stark. So
the boy.
And
is he just doing his little...
He was sleeping, and he was kind of, he had like a pillow over his eye, sleeping, and he was sleeping, having a good time until Lilynet fucking does this, jabs her pointer finger down his throat, and wakes him up. Stark wants to go back to sleep, but Lilynet kind of starts jumps on him and starts tickling him, saying that she'll force him to wake up. Hey. Eventually, they calm down, and Lilynet says it was Arañero, and he was killed. Stark's like, yeah, I already know. And she replies, you don't care? Like, she's like kind of annoyed that he doesn't care. And then he just sighs like, well, what do you want me to do about it? It's like,
that's true.
And we go back to Renji. I'm just keeping it in there because I love Stark. So
yeah, no, that's fair.
Back to Renji, who is feeling really full about himself. He's attacking with his Shikai and pushing kind of Zylparo like he's dodging and forcing him to block and stuff. But tricked you because he was just acting the whole time. And he blocks Renji's attack and then shoots something at him, slicing Renji up. Renji then is on the ground and looks at his feet.
Renji's
And he's like,
just
no,
trapped
it can't
2.0.
be. Renji kind of pieces it together, thinking back on their fight. He's stood still the whole time while they were fighting. So the whole time Renji thought he was like pushing him back, he moved all of one step and then moved back. So not going too hot.
No.
Zylparo says he was just testing his attacks. And he said, at this point, I don't need to study your attacks anymore, and then slashes him across the shoulder.
Okay.
He says, I can sense your attacks before you even start them. Then two fat, kind of like round jumping around cars, like the people from Alice in Wonderland, start coming down.
Tweedledum.
And he says that they have a message and says that Espada number 9 basically is dead. And Zylparo says the message says that they killed each other. He's telling Renji this. One of your friends managed to kill an Espada before they died. Truly remarkable.
Oh.
Renji doesn't believe him. And then he continues on saying, in fact, I just received the name of your dead friend.
No!
Rukia Kuchiki is one of your friends, isn't it?
Oh.
And this, of course, pisses off Renji, and Renji attacks him. But Zylparo just blocks it. And he's like, listen, I've told you several times now. Is like, you can't damage an Espada with just your Shikai. And he's like, please get that through your head. And then Renji kind of like powers up, almost goes Super Saiyan while they're clashing, catches him off guard, and actually does damage to him.
Ooh, the lad.
Yep. So we see Ichigo running, and this time he turns around sensing Rukia, like because of course he's awful at it. So he's like the last person to actually sense Rukia, and pauses for a second, like turns around, looks up the staircase, and then in the middle of the doorway at the top of the staircase, Ulquiorra appears.
Ew.
Oh, that's a lot sooner than I thought.
Yeah.
Oh, shit, this is about to pop the fuck off.
No.
So he says, Ulquiorra says, so you've noticed. I thought that you were a kid who possessed only brute strength. Quite frankly, I'm amazed that you have some decent abilities. And Ichigo at this point goes, I know you. Like he forgot. Like he's like trying to remember, like, I know you. Like Ulquiorra starts walking down, and Ichigo again is like, I know you, as we get flashbacks of like Ulquiorra first showing up and just putting together the pieces.
Is he starting to tremble or something?
No, he's not really starting to tremble at this point. He's just kind of like, he's like, oh, I know you. And then Ichigo finally is like, Ulquiorra. And Ulquiorra is like, interesting that you know my name, because I don't think I ever told you my name.
Yeah, I don't think he did.
And Ulquiorra is now down at ground level, like literally probably on the other side of this table from where I am. That's how close they are. And he says, at any rate, Rukia Kuchiki is dead. And then this kind of freaks out Ichigo, and Ulquiorra continues and says, more accurately, she and Espada number 9 killed each other. Her entire body was covered in wounds, and she was run through with a trident. She couldn't have survived.
I don't need the details, homeboy. That's fucked
Ichigo would
up.
be crying.
So Ichigo says, I wouldn't be so sure about that. Just a moment ago, I felt Rukia's spiritual pressure decrease. You weren't fighting her. There's no way you would know. And then Ulquiorra cuts him off, saying, synchronized awareness. That was one of Noveno, Espada number 9's talents. He had many responsibilities, and that was one of his roles. In the exact instant that when he first engages in battle, he can convey information about the enemies to his comrades. So we see Orihime, who's kind of slamming on her door. She's crying. She wants to be let out because she senses Rukia. That's just a little tidbit. We come back to Ichigo, who he's starting to, he just walks off. And Ulquiorra's like, where are you going? He's like, I'm going to go save Rukia.
Is it in the blue room?
Well, I mean, all of them are kind of dark rooms, so.
I did this last episode.
Yeah, I was like, I feel like it was a blue room.
They're calling it all orange and green.
So, Ichigo he goes to walk off, and Ichigo says, I'm going to save Rukia. Ulquiorra's like, I told you she's dead. And he's like, I don't believe you.
Hey.
And Ulquiorra's like, you're very stubborn. Is it a good idea to leave without killing me? Like, and Ichigo says, I have no reason to kill you. You may be my enemy, but the fact is you haven't hurt a single one of my friends yet.
Oh,
and
wow.
Ulquiorra goes, I see. What if I tell you I was the one who forced Inoue, Orihime Inoue to come to Huecamundo?
Bastard.
And Ichigo immediately teleports, dropping Nell on the ground, and slashes at Ulquiorra, who just blocks it with his hand.
Nice.
And Ichigo is pissed and says, you kidnapped her and brought her here. I suspected that she didn't come to Huecamundo of her free will. And Ulquiorra goes, how unexpected. You had some doubts about the girl, didn't you?
Damn.
Despite that, you and your friends came here to save her. And Ichigo says, damn you, do you understand what you did? Because of your actions, Orihime is being called a traitor. And Ulquiorra's like, traitor, yes. If she were not being called that, then it would mean we grossly miscalculated.
I love Ulquiorra.
Ulquiorra goes, is that enough reason to fight me now, Soul Reaper? And Ichigo releases more energy as they kind of both slide backwards. Ichigo has his sword drawn, ready to fight, and Ulquiorra just had both of his hands in his pocket again.
Hey.
And Ichigo says, Nell, make sure you stay back. He doesn't want to let me get by, but unfortunately, things won't turn out the way that he'd like. I must move quickly. I'm going to go at this guy with everything I've got, as he whips his sword and goes, Bankai. And black energy starts flying everywhere, and that's to be continued on that one. I kind of like how Ulquiorra is basically just going around fucking with people's mental stability. He's just like, he goes to Orihime like, hey, heads up, Rukia died.
Yeah.
And then he goes over to Ichigo, hey, heads up, Rukia
Sam.
died. It's like,
Sam, that would be
he's spreading all the news. Like, hey, guys.
That would be Sam. Sam loves to spread the bad news like that.
I still think Stark was a very accurate depiction of Sam.
Very
what do you
true.
want me to do about it, man?
Yes. But it's like they make, so I was watching that scene with Stark, and they make Stark and Lilynette like so much fun. It's like they're just hanging out, having a good time. They're the only two people who are like fun as Spada. Like the other ones are just brooding, and like you get to see. So we do see Baragon, who he's just like a stupid fool.
He's sitting on his throne, right? Or whatever.
I'm not sure. He's sitting somewhere. We see Hannibal. She gets the report from one of her other people, and she just doesn't really say anything.
Mm-hmm.
And then
we have Nell though. She's fun.
She is fun. Yeah, you are right. You are right.
Nell and her. Well, I don't remember the full name of her.
The Donde Chaka Trio brothers.
Yeah, as long as it has brothers in
the
it.
Great Desert Brothers. I don't know.
Yeah.
But like they make them out to be really fun, which is sad that we don't ever really get anything with them because we don't see Stark really do anything until the battle over Karakura Town.
Yeah, and even then we don't get any bit of him.
Yeah, then even then he wants to like have character development, but Kyoraku is just like, nah,
can't have that.
He's like, nah,
sorry,
as
mate.
much as I like you, so,
like
you're a
gotta
bad
do
guy.
it.
Yeah.
And then
a hollow version of me, but I know me, so you're gonna fuck that shit up for me.
And then it was interesting that Chad insta-killed the first Arrancar he came against.
Yeah.
But then this other Arrancar, for some reason, he decides, no, I'm Chad. I'm not going to kill you. So I don't know where he's drawn the line.
It's because the other guy showed him pity. He's like, hey, he's teaching me how to fight.
I would say that, but
I don't know. Chad flip-flops.
Yeah, he's a little fucker.
He's an honorable person. But did we ever think he was going to keep up? Like,
No.
when we're going in and we're
I feel like
legitimately...
he should have. So like I'm thinking
they gave him so many like elements to work off of, like where they're like, oh, he could potentially have some kind of hollow powers, or instead of being the fold ring.
Think about it this way. Ichigo hollow mask insta kills Don Panini.
it is weird that like,
And he insta killed the other dude.
I think the thing,
because imagine if Chad went full hollow, he should really be the power of like a hollow mask.
yeah,
right.
So that's weird. Like that's really weird because.
But Uryu took forever to fucking kill his.
Yeah, but Uryu sucks.
But he's supposed to be way stronger. He's like not Ichigo level, but I mean by 1,000-Year Blood War arc, he's like fucking broken.
Because it's weird because kind of like Ichigo's like gang of friends, like they're so much weaker compared to Ichigo. Like it's not like One Piece where there's like a solid 3 people, like Sanji,
the monster trio,
like Sanji and Zoro, like they're the monster trio, like they're fucking strong. But I feel like Bleach, much more the people who are on the level are not part of Ichigo's party. Like it's like Byakuya and like that's like the true people who are like on his. Meanwhile, like One Piece, where he does have people in the crew that are also equally strong, and then he does also have like a Crocodile or like other people who are like
Crocodile,
Smoker.
Smoker. Oh, I fucking love Smoker.
Who are really strong like him as well.
Yeah.
But it's like you don't have that in Bleach, so it's weird that it's like anytime you see the lackeys fighting, it's like, oh, they're just gonna be fighting someone not as strong. It's like the person who's done the best so far is Rukia.
Yep,
dude,
like,
she's
the only one that's taken out. Yep,
that was the best fight. That's got to be one of the best.
Yeah,
like
it's just well done. Yeah,
it's good. Because wasn't she supposed to, like when they were originally writing the story, like she was gonna be? It was a flip flop between her being the main character.
I don't know.
I feel like there was a lot of love for her character.
And Ichigo was supposed to have black hair, so Kain's supposed to be what originally Ichigo was supposed to look like, something like that.
Yeah, and I do like Kain a lot. Like I like, and I think a lot of people do because there's a lot of art about him.
Yeah.
But his voice acting in the dub, not great. Not good. I would say there's only a few voices that I hear it and I'm like, I just don't like that voice. He is one of them.
Grim.
I'm starting to come around on Noitora.
Really?
Because he's supposed to just have a weird funky voice.
He had an annoying voice, right?
Yeah,
like
and
raspy?
he does in the dub.
Is it raspy?
No, his voice not raspy.
Oh, sorry.
Cayenne's is raspy though. I don't know if that's what you're talking about. Cayenne is kind of has a raspy thing to it. So I don't really like those voices, but I maybe I'll come around to it. I don't fucking like. I didn't like Chad. Remember when that episode I thought Chad's voice changed in the Bound arc? Now it's fine. So and I'm sure it's the same guy.
I mean, they could have done a lot with Chad.
Yeah, and they kind of set up in some of the flashbacks, what I think we mentioned before. Kain basically was running Squad 13 like back in the day.
Yeah.
Because
Ukitake was always
Ukitake's health is shit. Yeah. So and he mentions that like in the talk with Rukia, he's like, I was like, just the captain is really weak. He's like, his health's not great. So I kind of do all the things.
Here's a list of pills he's got to take this morning, and then blah blah blah.
So like
blah,
he
blah.
was a great character, and it's like they did a really good job of literally introducing like this character to you, and then it's like,
and then killing him.
Here you go, and it's like, oh, I like that character.
Yeah.
And like you even get to see his Shikai and stuff, and it's like, oh, this is cool.
That was one of the coolest.
Yeah, I
things.
like that a lot.
I do remember.
You don't
that.
get to see his Bankai though, which is pretty sad.
He doesn't have to have a Bankai. He wasn't.
But if he's lieutenant,
But he's a lieutenant,
he would
might have
hope
one.
he has one.
I feel like if you're lieutenant, you're captain. There's just not a position.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're like, yeah.
There's
you're
a vacancy.
Assistant store manager,
Yeah.
Assistant to the
Really
store
does
manager.
most of the shit, but
yeah.
you know.
Yeah. So it would have been cool to see that, but I feel like it'd be a little broken if he could like steal Bankais as well.
Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense because
'Cause
I
if
mean that's
you-
what the Stern Raiders do.
Because if you remember the Hollow, that is a spot at number 9 that like his evolved that stage. He's not even the one that took over Cayenne.
No.
He's
No, it
a
was a
separate
yeah.
one that ate that one when it came back to Huaycamunda.
Was just an asshole. And
Yeah,
used him.
so like he waited for the right moment and then
Yeah.
attacked. He's kind of like the Gin,
Yeah.
Yeah.
but except he was successful.
Lad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey. Gein's a homie.
Yeah,
Don't
I
you do
saw
that.
a great Twitter post where have you guys seen the video of they're playing table tennis in the garage, the younger brother and the older
Yeah,
brother,
yeah.
and he throws the racket at
Yes,
the brother,
and then there's
the
a
brother
screaming going
fucking
on.
flips the table and comes to beat his ass, and it's like, this is Gin and Aizen. And it's
Yeah.
like when Gin tried to sneak attack Aizen, I was like, oh, that's so true. That's so true.
Fuck.
Poor Gin.
Poor
dude.
Gin, he just gets the bad.
What? Did he die? Or he just got written
It's
off?
left ambiguous.
Yeah, but
It's
I'm
left-
pretty sure he died because
yeah.
Matsumoto was there.
It's very ambiguous as to
Oh.
what, but they kind of make it. They kind of hint towards he kind of left.
Yeah,
But
okay.
but you don't know.
would have been cool if he came back
Yeah,
for.
but he's
the-
cool. Like he's great. Like he's a great character in the Huaycamunda arc too because he just also stirs shit. There's
Yeah.
basically in the Espadas for some reason there's a lot of people who like stirring up shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like Soul Society is pretty straightforward. Espadas are stirring up shit constantly.
Yeah.
Nonstop.
I wonder if that's like a motif thing. Like they designed the characters to have that.
They
I
have
doubt
to
it.
because it's like when Kubo like creates characters, he gives them personality. So it's
Yeah.
just really funny to see how Noitora is kind of like an asshole, doesn't really care. Ulquiorra's just going around being like, "Hey, your friend dying."
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like Gin's controlling the corridors and
yeah,
stuff.
and he's just having fun. He's just like,
Yeah,
"Oh."
we're gonna ship. We're gonna ship.
Yeah.
It's the Among Us thing. He's like, there's an imposter among
Yeah.
us.
So it's like it's really good, and they do like Aizen just chilling the whole time. He's like, yeah, let's let him do the thing. It's like,
Yeah.
what?
Guys is just having a great time. He's just like, "Oh, my
Tozen's
friend."
the only one who's taking it like
up the ass.
really super serious
Yeah.
at the ass.
He's probably the most Soul Reaper. Of
Yeah.
all of
Yeah,
them.
yeah.
Yeah, really. So,
Yeah.
but he's the only one that's like, well, he's boring.
Yeah.
Everybody else like, I'm gonna do whatever the fuck I want. Fuck you,
Dude,
Yeah.
oh my god, I'd do whatever the fuck I want.
yeah, it's great. So I think upcoming, obviously, we get the Zylparo fight.
The full fight.
Does
with-
it go? Because it's got to go Zylparo, the Grimjo, and then the Soul Reapers show up, right?
I
Yeah.
believe so, but I think what happens
Because
is
we get the Byakuya fight. I feel like not far off from now.
well,
Isn't
well,
he
no,
s-
Zyloparo gets beat by Miuri.
Yeah, but I think what I'm saying is that all happens at the same time.
Yeah.
Like the
they
reveal,
Yeah,
basically
Mayuri
invade.
shows
the
up.
reveal that all the Soul Reapers show up are at the same time. So
Yeah.
that's why I'm trying to figure out the timeline.
Yeah. No, I think you're right. Cause
And we do have the
Kenpachi-
fillers coming up.
So
we have
I
a
think we're gonna.
fat
Hit, I
filler
think we're
arc
gonna
coming
hit the
up.
fillers
Wait,
as
what?
the Grimjo
Yeah,
fight ends.
we have a
or
fat
something.
filler arc coming up. So, and it's the
what's the
filler arc
arc?
where they get a new captain. There's a new
Yeah,
captain.
there's a new captain, and he's kind of a shady dude.
Yeah.
Who? When? Where?
So the timeline thing doesn't work out because I think they do like in a time not something from now, and it's like they just basically slot it in because it doesn't make sense for them all to go back. But basically they get a new captain and he's a bad guy. Spoiler.
Wow.
Yeah, that's
And
basically.
him and his lieutenant are like fucking crazy. They're doing it for some reason. I think that's
Yeah.
also where they have the princess, right?
Oh, is it?
I think it might be. The
If it's the
princess
part
thing.
where they have the princess, that's where they have the soccer match, and I really like
yeah,
that
yeah,
episode.
yeah. I think
So, I hope that's it. I'm looking forward to that.
I'm finding out more and more that like we were bred to like Haikyuu and Blue Lock.
Well, it worked.
Dude, it's really good. Like, you were like Samurai Champloo had the baseball episode. Do you remember?
Oh,
it?
that's
Yes,
right.
Yes. Yeah.
Damn, we haven't had a. Oh, and At Bat was super. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's up there. So we have good parts coming up, but I don't remember liking this. I actually remember disliking this filler arc the most.
I do remember not liking
even
it
more
that
than
much.
Bounce.
The Bount arc of your.
Yes, I remember
his
hating
existence,
this
yeah.
filler arc. So we'll see. We'll see when we get there. It might super impede how much I want to watch. So
That's rough.
we'll see because I think it's really bad. But I might be misremembering and it might be enjoyable. We'll just have to
Yeah,
wait
you
and
could
see.
like it
And
way
maybe
more now.
later on. Yeah, you know,
Yeah.
with age, maybe you like it.
Yeah.
Because the Bount arc, we came at it and we're like, hey, that actually
It
had a
wasn't
good. It
terrible.
had a good ending
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
it, though.
Yeah, it did.
So
It did. And they keep using the characters, but I don't think they use the characters in the next filler arc ever.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Okay, well, that's been Bleach Boys number 12. Thank you for watching. We'll be back again next week doing another probably 6 episodes because I think that gets us right into the filler arc. So if you want to watch more, be sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. If you're watching us on any of the other platforms, be sure to, I think there's a subscribe button on those.
Yeah.
Do that as well. Leave us a review. Give us 5 stars. Say what's up. And we'll be back every Saturday with another episode of Bleach Boys. Thanks for watching. We'll see you guys next time.